How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. I'm here with
Thermites.
This is, as always, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, fuck off. This is Miss Marvel Season 1, Episode 4, Seeing Red.
Seeing Red?
I have no idea what the theme of these titles are.
Yeah, there's no real thing there.
No. And they're not even that relevant to what's going on in the episode.
Really.
Like, they are, but they're not, like, oh, here's the biggest thing from the episode or something.
Yeah, they're like an average TV guide TV show title.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, this kind of works. It's a thing to call the episode.
It's a very, like, well, we need a title.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I guess it's gonna be her getting the costume.
I guess so. It's not that red, though, and she already has the red thing on the costume.
Yeah.
I assume the red, thing that came with the bracelet is what she's going to use as the sash.
Yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, I don't know anything else aside from that, other than just the classic seeing red bull thing,
Yeah.
bull-headed.
Well, she's been pretty chill this entire time. I guess this might be the big, like, oh, this is the thing that's going to make her extremely upset, mad.
Yeah. Could also be from the perspective of damage control, from the perspective of, we just got her name last time, but anyway, Kamran's mom. But yeah, if you want to get the full length, check it out in the description below. We're just going to jump right in.
Yeah.
Okay, here for the discussion of this one. I'll say, not a great episode, I think.
I think it was alright.
Yeah, it was alright. But, I praise the Phase 4 show so much. I'll finally say this one was, could have been, I could imagine it being a better episode.
Yeah.
Mainly just with, I think it was a fine episode, but it was one of those, we're going to have mostly conversations, it's going to be a big talking episode, but then we're going to get a big action set piece at the end, but it wasn't that action-y, it wasn't...
Yeah.
They could have put more into the fight choreography there. Especially in that final room there, where I was ready, oh shit, here we go, it's about to be awesome, and then we just kind of are doing a bunch of cuts, and
Yeah.
So yeah, really, I think, this episode would have been much, much better if just the action at the end was more satisfying of a payoff.
Yeah, more of a climax. I can see that.
Yeah. Especially because in the actual room, when the mist started coming out and some of that, the older guy, he was did he say he was his dad or anything? I think he was just
yeah, I don't think we know the relation.
Yeah, he's just an older, guy, more senior guy there. But yeah, he was a fucking badass. Well, we got his name, Kareem or Chemo, either one. Or Red Dagger, I guess.
Well, I think they're all Red Daggers.
Yeah, but he might be the only one left now.
Fair.
It seems like there was only 2. I mean, maybe there's more, but...
It's a classic MCU thing. There's probably 500 of them.
Yeah.
There's only 2 in the base.
But yeah, so, as well, he got cut, but I don't think, it's going to be a major thing.
No.
Yeah, you're also in agreement there. What about, the older guy? Do you think he's dead, or do you think it's just going to be a major wound, or...
I think it's just a major wound.
I think he's dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's dead.
Okay.
Also, a little bit disappointed with the fact that, we had the big explosion of the boiling water and all that, and nobody got touched by it. That was just kind of like a stay away move. But, it didn't even, get on the girl a little bit. I would like to have, just some splotches, burn marks on her face or something. But,
yeah, she's superhuman anyways, so it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. It would have been a, oh, damn.
It would have been a cool, visual indicator of damage being taken.
Yeah.
And something that, the burn's gonna hurt a lot, but then it's something that, like a stab, when you get stabbed, then you gotta wait for that to heal, or it's gonna be bleeding. Well, that's more of a complicated injury to have to deal with. Whereas, a burn, is an easy thing to do for a character and not have to worry about it, making it weaker or anything.
Fully get that, yeah.
But yeah, so that was really my only thing. Is just I liked all the talking conversations and stuff of that, but it was clearly doing a we're gonna build up to a big action piece at the end here, and then it was disappointing.
Yeah.
But the conversations and scenes we got throughout the whole episode were fantastic. We've talked about love the grandmother. I'll let you talk for a second. I'm rambling.
No. Just getting to explore Kachi was really cool.
Yeah.
And also, The cousin scene was so classic. It is the big, like, you're visiting, so we're going to show you all the cool stuff, but that is not the stuff we think is cool. It is the stuff that is like, oh, this is this historical place, or this is, this market. We don't have really an idea of what to do here. Mm-hmm. Like, the Google Maps, tour thing is something I've never experienced, but I can definitely imagine one of my family members doing that.
I've definitely heard about that.
Like, over here, I don't know what this is.
And then, like, the one place she does want to go, they're like, who gives a shit about that place?
Yeah, you can go on your own. That's
not a tourist destination. Why would you want to go there?
Even though, like, it is a cool place. Like, they are remodeling it because it's historic.
Yeah.
And someone put up the Ant-Man, like, art piece.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get over how much people love Ant-Man.
That was, like, part 4 of, like, a multi-part thing. So I imagine it's probably, like, all the Avengers.
Oh, fair.
Like, in different places.
Yeah. But we are I mean, I guess that's just because of the Jersey thing.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah. Anyway, it is nice that Ant-Man's getting some respect.
I mean, he's a founding Avenger at this point, if you believe the musical.
If you believe Rogers the musical. He was there the whole time. I was hoping that AvengerCon was going to give us, another clarification. Because, like, again, Avengers is a very colloquial term as well. And again, Rogers Musical could have just been fully, like, of course they're talking out their ass. Obviously, we saw it.
Yeah.
But, I assumed it was like, okay, so that is, like, the legal Avengers. But now I'm not even sure. Now, I don't know.
Who knows?
And it was also weird that we started this with like we don't really know much about Captain Marvel sort of situation, but then we went to, no, we do know exactly who it is. It is Carol Danvers. Here's what she looks like. We know her past. Like, yeah, so that was a bit, weird just in terms of like, what does the world know? Like, we started out with like a very clear thing and then moved away from that into they know.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, more of a, we don't know what she's doing as a hero.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's the only way to make both of those canonical and have them make sense simultaneously.
Yeah.
Is if it's like, well, we know who Carol Danvers is, and we know what she did before she went off-world, but then we don't know what she's been doing as a hero, which then, like, works with us, the audience, because we also don't know what the fuck she's been doing.
Yeah. Very fair. But yeah, the whole episode was just great vibes of going to visit family, especially very distant family that you haven't seen in a long time. The whole, mother situation with with Kamala's mother and then the grandmother.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to add to it. It's very in your face about it, They ain't being subtle. So I'm not sure what else to add.
Yeah, it's generational trauma.
But like, yeah, I am glad that her, like, I really thought I was not going to like her mom at the beginning of it, but I'm very appreciative of her mom's character for this, like, although she is, restricting Kamala in a lot of ways and stuff like that, she is also open-minded in some ways, and she is quick to, lighten up, and she's not just going to try and hold the grudge forever, and it's not like the classic, like, Kamala trying to lighten the mood and the mom just being, like, dead walling her. See, I really appreciate, what they're doing with her throughout this. And that she gets, like, scenes on her own to talk with the grandmother that last quite a while.
Oh, yeah, loved that scene.
Yeah.
Like, it really helps, like, you can say as much as you want, this is the mother-daughter relationship, like, this is kind of how it always is. But if you don't show it, it doesn't really hit.
Yeah.
Plus, like, the very real dynamic of, like, the child and the grandchild, or, grandmother being so similar because of the natural generational thing of, like, you rebel against your parent rebelled against their parents, and so you have the, like, the flip-flop of, I'm like this, and also, if you skip a generation, they were like that, and you skip a generation, they were like that. Like, still in different ways, obviously.
Oh, yeah, very much so. But, like, yeah, you can definitely see you usually see way more of the child and the grandparents than vice versa.
And, like, conversely, I don't want you to grow up to be like your grandparent, as opposed to, I don't want you to grow up like me.
Yeah. And, yeah, the not the self-loathing, but, like, the self-familial loathing of, like, the, like, I gotta get away, not from my mom, but because my mom is, so lame, because everybody's making fun of her, and so they make fun of me, that I gotta move, because I don't want to be, made fun of like that, too.
Yeah. Like, just the fact that, again, they didn't communicate in so long, and so, like, it is in this episode that the grandma's like, oh, I thought you moved away to get away from me. Like, I'm surprised you're telling me that you want me to come to you.
Yeah.
You've never given me that indication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not even like, oh, I wanted to move to America, you know, for a better life or for, you know, X, Y, or Z, but it really was a trying to get away sort of situation.
Yeah, it was just like, I want to change. I want something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, yeah, like, to hear that must be pretty rough. I mean, like, I don't know, though, because it's like, well, I also thought you were just getting away from me, period. And so it's not as bad as that, but it's still not great.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Well, yeah, as it all is. I mean, the whole, like, you know, who am I, you know, going into the, like, British man just making a line down and now everybody's trying to, you know, figure out who they are based on some random guy drawing a line, like, why, you know? And then, I mean, that ties into the Jin stuff as well, the veil being the partition, I mean, her powers literally being, like, a wall, you know, sort of thing, a construct that...
Yeah.
Like, an artificial thing that she is putting out to separate things, even if that is separating your foot from the air.
Yeah, and also her powers being something that can only be, like, a second-generation thing. It is I have the power to control the Noor because I am, you know, from their realm, but because I was born here, because I am part human, I can control it here, whereas you guys cannot.
Yeah, again, I was very, I said at the beginning, I was concerned at how the show was going to go and what they were going to do with her powers and how it was going to tie in thematically and all that, and they were doing a great job at that. My only issue really is just that they look like shit, and that's really my only problem with them. I think they have done a great job of working them in through the writing, through the themes of the series, having it still fit with her character-wise, instead of doing, like, the, you know, body issue stuff, which they still try to do a little bit, which didn't really work, but... You know, instead of focusing more on that, focusing more on, like, identity and, like, just all the supernatural stuff we're doing it with it as well, I'm really into. I really love how they handle it. Just wish it didn't look like shit. The platforms look fine. Let me say that. The platforms look fine. It's the arm that looks so bad. Yeah. And, like, we just saw Reed stretching, and, you know, it was very little, but it was way better than that. Like... I think because it's not an arm, because it is just like this rock thing, it just doesn't... The MCU has never gotten better at that, and so, you know, they're not that great at rocky stuff. Like rocky CG, or like crystal CG, stuff like that. I don't know, they just have never gotten better at it. But yeah, so, hopefully, when it appears like a movie or something, it'll be better.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, it's so, like, static, and, like... It feels just like a moving PNG to me, rather than... It doesn't even feel like CG, it feels like a moving PNG.
Okay.
Like, especially when she did, like, the punch towards the camera thing. Okay. That was the most, like... That looked like you just made the image smaller. But, yeah. How do you feel about it?
I think it's fine. Like, it doesn't hype me up, but it's also, like, it doesn't really bother me.
Okay. Just in general, like, everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I just don't see it in a way that, you know, it just doesn't bother me visually.
Okay.
It sounds fine.
Are you saying that... What do you feel... How do you feel about all of it overall?
Okay. Overall, I think they're doing a really good job of... Like, if you're gonna remix, do a good remix. Don't have be like, oh, I'm really ashamed to be doing this. And so, yeah, I think, like, just in terms of the story they're telling, it is really, really interesting. Plus, I think, like... Again, when we do, like, the Marvels, I think it'll definitely stand out among the 3 different energy abilities we have now.
Yeah. Maybe.
I can see it. So.
We'll see. Because, like, the only way I can see it standing out more is if they do more with her doing, like, growing stuff instead. But I hope it's the opposite. I hope they sort of phase out the growing an arm sort of situation and just leave it as the platforms. But, I mean, that's probably just me thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it really is just, like... It's one of the only things in the MCU that I think looks... Like, every time I look at it, it takes me out of it. Like, it feels so unreal. But the platforms are fine. The platforms look great. They interact physically very... I think that really is it. That the platforms have physics to them, whereas her arm does not. And
that's fair.
That's what, like, bothers me about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it has weight. It doesn't feel like it has much movement to it. It just doesn't feel the same as the other powers. So it takes me out of it in this, like, every time I see it, I go, this is supposed to be something else.
Ah.
Like, I don't know why in universe she is even doing that.
Yeah. Because, like, it is interesting that one of the first times she ever does that, like, she makes the hand, and then it's heavy, and it falls to the ground. She's like, oh, crap.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that is, like, more like the way the platforms work. Where it is a physical thing, and, like, it can stay in one place, or, yeah. I can definitely understand that. Like, the physics are just different with the stretch.
Yeah, because it looks way more like rubber when she's doing, like, the stretch or whatever. It doesn't look like rock anymore. It doesn't really have the... I mean, clearly, she could not have worked out in, like, less than a week to be able to lift what she couldn't even lift before. And now she's just going, like, boom, boom, boom. You know? Like, it's... yeah. The only problem I have with the series is a lot of wanting to have their cake and eat it, too.
I'm still so curious about, like, in the new ED, we actually have more scenes of her with the, like, both her with, like, the comic hand, and also, like, her with the comic hand also using the crystal powers.
Yeah, maybe we will do, like, a phase out of, like, the armor over her sort of thing. Just becomes a, like, invisible thing.
Maybe.
And the arm stretching just becomes her actual arm stretches. But then, I mean, what's she gonna do? Make a flesh platform? So...
yeah. Like, that's the big question to me, is that, like, they've done such a good job of making it intrinsically tied to, you know, the themes of the series, just her whole deal, that this is light.
Yeah.
Like, you know, not even crystal, but, you know, it is light made manifest. It is the Noor. And so, if she were to have actual stretchy abilities, that would be weirder then. Because it would be like, well, how does that connect to light? Or like,
but it is her arm stretching, right? I want to go check. I can't tell.
Yeah, like, it's obscured by the lights.
Yeah. Like, when she's doing, like, the fists, just standing up with the fists, her hands look way bigger.
Yeah, and when she throws that punch, like, if I'm focusing on the flesh inside, it does look like the flesh itself stretches. Like, where her fist should be is not where her fist is.
Yeah, and it also looks like her elbow extends to a different spot.
Like, it's very minor. It's not like it's going all the way to where the punch is.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it seems like from right here to right here stretching way more. Versus, like, right here stretching a tiny bit, and right here stretching none at all.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is how I would assume actual stretch powers would work, but... But yeah, either way, it's also, like, during the whole fights and everything like that, she is, like, always successful or does cool stuff when she's using platforms, and the hands have done nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they've only been a detriment.
Yeah, or like a shield at most.
Yeah.
Like, when she does the punch that we were talking about near the end of the fights, it extends out to a point, and then it's, like, the person jumping into it is, you know, how they make contact.
Yeah.
It is not a punch that, like, fires the person backwards.
Like, yeah, she's only ever used it as a defensive move, and even then, most of the time it's accidentally defensive. You know, when she just, like, I mean, half the time she does the, like, armor over her fists, and that does something, but the big, stretchy fist hasn't really done anything.
Yeah.
But also feels a little bit... It's the classic problem I have with a lot of MCU stuff when they have the, like, these guys are supposed to be super strong sort of thing, but we don't really see that visually too much.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, the fact that the older guy had to die, and then yet we got backed in the corner and then just fought them anyway and beat most of them feels a little bit like, well, maybe if we had the other guy there, we could have done a much better job.
Yeah.
We already also beat them in the room first and then ran away, beat them again and ran away. So it's like, it's the, I feel bad that he died, but I also go, you guys should have just fought them. You guys should have just fought them. Why are we running so much?
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe they are more powerful than they seem, but...
Yeah, like, it has to be sold on us.
It feels a lot like the Elektra stuff in Defenders, where we kept just going, like, you keep saying this,
like but... like, she's the deadliest thing in the world, but or, like, the most powerful...
Yeah, they don't seem that deadly.
Yeah, the scariest they were like when they first stormed the wedding, and the fear was they're going to slaughter a bunch of innocent people who aren't going to fight back
by just beating them to death.
Yeah, like since then they haven't done a lot to make me go like, oh, and they are insanely dangerous as a physical threat.
Yeah,
like more so than martial artists. I should say
the main guy of the Red Daggers, the older guy. Yeah, he fought them 5v1 and won.
Yeah.
So do you think the Supermax prison that damage control has is basically just it's just a second raft. Do you think there's any difference?
Apart from it, apart from being on land, no. I think it's like, there's so many of these, where it's like the raft, the cellar, the fucking whatever.
I mean, so far in the MCU, we only have the raft and the Supermax prison, right?
I believe so.
But what I'm saying is, like, do you think there is any difference in who's in the prisons?
Okay, I see.
Like, is the raft for, like, super... Or where, like, the Vulture just went to Rikers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think there's a difference between people who just don't have powers, but they have, like, tech stuff, where you can basically put them in any prison. Theoretically.
Yeah.
Then the raft, I imagine, is for people who are, like a super dangerous, they can't be let out at all threats. And then I imagine this place is sort of an in-between. Like, they just put a teenager in there. He doesn't have powers. He's just a teenager.
Well, they think he's Kamala, I think. Or I guess they think that, one of them has his powers, or they all have the powers of Nightlight,
Yeah.
Because that's why they don't know about the clandestine stuff.
Right,
They're being arrested for those powers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I think that's basically the difference. Like, this is what they would do to a teenage girl.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas Rikers, I imagine, is the ultra dangerous, you have powers where we think you could, escape on your own.
Okay.
Because that's also, putting the Avengers there, I think, was a strong, they're very skilled, each of them individually.
Yeah, even though most of them did not have powers.
Yeah.
And, didn't have their suits or any, Ant-Man didn't have, that was just Scott Lang in the prison.
That was just Scott Lang. To be fair, I think the Rikers thing is also very political.
Oh, yeah, probably. But yeah, so I was also I don't know if there's any difference here other than just and we're putting them here in the Supermax prison when we haven't gone through a trial for them or anything yet. We're just throw a go in here where we can get away with it versus the raft actually probably is way more of I don't know, probably maybe not privately funded or something. I don't know.
I can see that. A very, if someone goes to the raft, it's gonna make the news.
Yeah,
as thing. This person is here.
Yeah, it seems like the big forefront thing versus this isn't her name. It was just a Supermax prison.
Yeah.
And so, I assume that is the difference of just, we can shove them in here and, the world's not gonna really think much about it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me,
But yeah, they didn't even grab any of their weapons, by the way. All these people with only melee weapons did not grab the goddamn gun. Or they did. They just dropped it at some point outside the prison, in the prison, who knows.
Yeah.
But they had it with them when we saw them leaving. And at one point they just went, fuck this.
Yeah. Like our weapons.
What do you think those weapons are?
When we saw them, before the wedding, it seems like they're each, a thing they have on them that they then, transform into the weapon.
Oh, no, sorry, I'm talking about the
blasters?
The blasters,
yeah.
Because they have the blue stuff in them that the Hydra guns were using and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which was powered via the Tesseract.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite the same look as the Tesseract blasts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those were also, they disintegrated your fucking body.
Oh, yeah.
Or teleported you, maybe. Maybe there's just a bunch of fucking Nazis in space somewhere.
Maybe. It's possible.
And, the Allied forces the Nazis were shooting at. But there's just a whole other World War II still being fought on an alien planet.
Oh, man.
Give me that movie.
Oh, Commando's movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they didn't get shot. They lived out their lives.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I'm thinking it's a sonic weapon.
Oh yeah.
Probably derived from the big sonic blaster they shot the Hulk with back in Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah.
If I had to give it a lineage from something.
Sure. I'm just curious. The blue effect on it is an effect the MCU uses a lot. But I am curious. Do you think that's going to tie into something, or do you think it's just it's blue? We do that a lot.
I think it'll tie into something. This feels like a classic some villain at some point is going to do I disassembled these guns, or I was the one who originated the technology and they stole my idea, or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
it feels just an easy thing to do.
Also, it's America. Do we really think they just destroyed all of Hydra's guns? I mean, I assume they probably just reworked them into something else.
Probably. It's just that the effect looks so different to me,
I mean, yes, the effect is extremely different, but the blue is not, right? actually, you're right. It is more purple than blue. It's not the, like, bright blue that Hydra has.
Yeah, like, the Tesseract's blue is very, like, wintry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I think of it.
Whereas, and, like, I was just bringing it up because, like, they had those guns still powered in Avengers, Age of Ultron. So, like, the Tesseract juice clearly lasts for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, so maybe it's something different. I don't think we've seen that color specifically, that, like, kind of purplish sort of color. But, yeah.
Speaking of power, we brought up so much, like, you know, in order for them to get back to their world, or the way it seems now is, like, you know, their originating world is going to overlap with ours, destroying it.
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to take an insane amount of power. And I feel like that was really confirmed by, you know, the bracelet being stabbed and, like, a tiny bit of energy, presumably, being enough to make Kamala travel through time.
Either that or travel into the like, vision.
I can see that. The difference really is that, you know, the vision's always been so purple, whereas this is just normal looking.
Right, but it starts purple, you know? Like, when we start to break into it, it's a purple outline and stuff. Let me go back to that. Yeah. Very, very similar. So, yeah, it's the purple light, like, purple cracks, and then she falls into the purple, and then it's not purple anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a, like, she's in a memory sort of thing. Like, you know, I guess I'll make that my theory. This is a memory, so, like, she won't be able to affect anything.
Okay. My guess is, because this is crazy though, but it makes sense with the idea of, like, this takes so much energy.
Oh yeah.
Like, if this is time travel, then I'm guessing Kamala is the reason why her great-grandmother got back on the train.
Okay.
Because of the stars and the fact that we specifically set up in this episode, you know, none of them can use their powers here. Only Kamala can. She's unique because she was born here.
Right.
So, like, up until this point, I was thinking Aisha, like, put on the bangle as a kid, or, like, you know, the bangle activated on its own, awakened her powers, created it, and she didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
But if only Kamala can do it, then I think Kamala traveling through time saved her own great-grandmother.
You're right. Oh, this is even more Disney Channel original movie than I thought. Yeah, I can't believe she doesn't have to write an essay.
I mean, she doesn't.
No, that was Bruno having the fake essay that he was talking about.
For a second there, I was like, oh my god, she's gonna write an essay. Like, this is what happened to my great-grandmother during partition. And then she gets, like, an F because the teacher's like, you can't know any of this. You didn't cite your sources, you cited Wikipedia.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? And she goes, you don't get it. I was there.
Okay, I gotta hit you with the, is Kareem Red Mask? Or Red Hood?
Red Hood is DC, yeah. Wait.
There's a Red Hood in Marvel, too, right?
No, you're right, there's Red Hood.
He's in Marvel Snap.
He's in Marvel Snap.
Is that Red Hood? So, okay, if you're not that familiar with him.
I'm not familiar with him.
I mean, he seemed like the kind of character in Marvel Snap that was like, okay, you are scraping the barrel over this card. But, I mean, that's why I love Marvel Snap, to be fair.
But I could see it, because these are, like, you know, like, the Red Dagger's whole deal is we fight the unseen threats. And so I could see it being a, like, we have, you know, this secret technique that lets you summon a 6/6 demon. Or a 6-power demon.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what his thing was.
That's what his thing is. He's -2, and he summons a 1/6 demon as a, like, I'm really weak and shitty, but I summon a big, strong guy.
You know what? I take it back. I don't think this is the hood. Also, he doesn't have a hood.
No, he has the opposite of a hood.
But, like, the red mask, and just, like, the stance that he was in, it's very similar. But, also, probably not.
Also, I guess the episode is seeing red because of the red daggers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Also, love the outfit we got for her.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic. I love the fact, like, you know, she's wearing the stupid superhero mask that doesn't really, like, it does kind of work a bit, but it also doesn't work because she, you know, was wearing the fucking New Jersey shirt.
Yeah.
And then as well, like, him just wearing, like, the you know, face covering mask, and then her being like, that's it. And rightfully, I mean, like, I mean, it's hidden us for, you know, all these years before. Like, it is that kind of, like, you know, Clark Kent wearing some glasses. That's not gonna work. But a mask like that would kind of work.
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't work for her in America.
Yeah, like, it's different in Karachi, because that's also a real, like, you saw a person in a mask, and then you take off the mask, it's like, well, who the fuck? There's so many people here.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you think?
Versus, yeah, I mean, in America, one white person saw you, and it was
one white person just said nothing.
Yeah.
Just had a facial expression. God damn.
I loved the fucking throwing the knives. So, like, they must have super strength too, or something. Like, throwing those knives into the fucking wall, and then grabbing them, and also, his knives weren't red.
His knives weren't red? Yeah.
The other guy, like, clearly all his daggers were red. But yeah, the main guy, no red daggers.
No. You gotta earn the red.
You gotta earn the red. He's the older one.
He's the older one.
But yeah, the whole chase scene was very fun. Though, like, you know, again, I wish the fight after that was a bit better, but the chase scene I liked.
Yeah, like, I appreciate that it really, you know, it used the setting way more.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I'm glad we had some fucking crazy, ridiculous moments, like the one-wheeled motorcycle. Like, that was fucking awesome. That's the shit I want more of in the MCU with action stuff. Stuff like that, the just being sideways, being pushed by the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Making the ramp, throwing the daggers to the wall, and grabbing them to parkour over. Like, that's the shit I really want. Get wacky with it.
Yeah, like, part of the big appeal of comics, especially the old ones, was, like, you are literally never going to see this anywhere. Like, it is impossible to do some of this in movies, and even if you could, with, like, $1 billion, you know, there's some things you just straight up can't do in terms of the scale, or the spectacle, or just the, like, the physics, this is just a wild thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, that is, that should be more of the appeal of the MCU, that feeling of, you can't see this anywhere else.
Yeah. Give me more of it, motherfuckers. Yeah, I think that's all I gotta say for this one. You got anything else you want to mention?
Not really, you know.
Yeah.
Just, generally strong episode. The culture shock, loved it.
Not a strong episode.
I thought it was a strong episode. It's not super strong. It's not like a Hulk episode or like a Thor episode. But, you know, like in terms of physical strength, it's like a Black Widow. It's a Black Widow.
Okay, a little more than an average person.
But it's not a Hawkeye.
Oh, I don't know if Hawkeye or Black Widow is stronger. I don't know. Alright, that's it for this one. See you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here.